Hey there friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and I'm on a mission to spread peace, love, and positivity through music. Today we'll be doing a double reaction to Tori Amos, checking out the songs Caught a Light Breeze, spelled Lite, and Crucify. Now, full disclosure, my most recent reaction to Tori, I heard the song Me and a Gun for the first time, and I feel like I'm still mentally processing that one. It was so brutal, emotional, horrifying, heavy. I think heavy is just the perfect description of what that song is, because there's so many horrifying things in the world and oftentimes we don't want to pay as much mind to it because of how heavy it is, because it weighs on us. And now, knowing what I know about Tori and the substance in her music, I expect more heaviness. And I don't mean to imply heaviness being a bad thing by any stretch, but it does impact you, especially if you feel for the pain of others. So for me, I'm equal parts excited to hear more from Tori, but also a little bit nervous depending on how heavy this gets. So yeah, the trigger warnings are out there, the disclaimers are out there. Either case though, I'm ready to check this one out today. Before we do finally jump in though, a massive thank you goes to Daniel the Trustworthy for making this reaction possible. Thank you for your request, Daniel. And now, let's jump in.
Are we rolling? Yeah, you just keep going. Marcel, is this working? Rob? Yeah?
That is a huge grand piano. Oh wow, that angle even more.
Caught a light sneeze, caught a light breeze,
Oh,
caught a light weight, lightning seed.
acapella again.
Boys on my left side, boys on my right side, and boys in the middle, and you're not here. Do 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 do.
Who is you
Big
in this?
learn from a girl's own building, tumbling down. Didn't know
I like the way she like extends certain words. Tumbling down. I didn't do it exactly, but it's almost like she breaks up tumbling, a 3-syllable word, into about 5 or 6, seemingly.
down. Didn't know our love was so small. Couldn't stand it out, Mr. St. John. Just bring your son. The spire is higher than my cells can feed, and you still got that bell dragging.
It's honestly, if I didn't have these lyrics, it would be so challenging for me to understand what she's saying, because like with tumbling, she is manipulating these words up and down, left and right, stretching them out and contracting them. It's a unique way to speak, let alone sing.
Higher than my cells can feed, and you still got that bell dragging your thoughts. Yes, I'm hiding it. Well, sister,
Oh, the cry.
but I still got that bell dragging my thoughts. Yes, building, tumbling down.
It's like 7 notes.
Didn't know our love was so small. Couldn't stand it out, Mr. St. John. Just bring your son.
I gotta be honest, I don't understand what this song is about. I'll keep listening to try to decipher the meaning here. This probably is just above my pay grade and requiring context that I don't have to decipher this one right now. I like what she's doing though. Again, my focus keeps going towards the way that she's manipulating a lot of these words. Even the sentence structures are interesting, but her specific delivery of each and every single one of these words, tumbling being like my crowning jewel of an example, has like 6 or 7 distinct pitches within her delivery, each acting as a unique syllable. Basically, she's finding syllables between the syllables.
Stand it out, Mr. St. John, just bring your son.
And then into the falsetto again.
Right on time.
Whoa.
You get closer and closer. Call
That works for me.
name.
Some
There's
piano.
no way he can use that fame. Rent your wife and kids today. Maybe she.
Rent your wife and kids today. What is she getting at? Right on time, you get closer and closer. Call my name. There's no way, and use that fame. Rent your wife and kids today. What is the context, man?
Use that fame. Rent your wife and kids today. Maybe she will. Sit or maybe she will. Caught a light snakes. Dreamed a little dream. Made my own pretty hate machine.
Wow.
Boys on my left side. Boys on my right side, boys in the middle, and you're not here. Boys in their dresses, and you're not here. I need a big loan from the gift zone. I need a big loan from the gift zone. Building tumbling down. Didn't know our love was so small. Couldn't stand it up, Mr. Satan. Just bring your son.
Wow. Man, what a... It's not often you just hear almost pure a cappella. We got a brief stint of her playing the piano, but primarily it's just her singing with her voice and drumming along on the grand piano. I would love to hear your insights about what this song means in the comments. I absolutely need to phone a friend, and I'll just like give you a bit of where my head's at right now in regards to the meaning of this song. And I think I'm just drawing most of my understanding from this repeated section here that we've heard even prior. Boys in the middle and you're not here. Boys in their dresses and you're not here. Even earlier it was boys on the left, boys on my right. You're not here. I need a big loan from a girl zone. I don't know if this is even in the ballpark, but somehow this feels like a song about what it feels like as a woman to be in a predominantly patriarchal society or environment where men are overwhelmingly represented, I guess you could say. And the you that she's referring to is the you in terms of the feminine or at least female presence. And she, as a woman, is speaking to all of womanhood, I guess. I need a big loan from a girl zone to be able to inhabit the male world, I guess. And that I don't mean that to also imply that it's a requirement to be in those spaces, like boys should be accepting and stuff of anybody. That's why this one's just like hard for me to interpret, because I don't know where it comes from. The lyrics, and some of them to me are a little disjointed. That's why I'm saying I need some context to figure out what this one's about. And maybe I can draw some meaning on caught a light sneeze, Lite. When I see Lite versus Light, Lite almost feels more informal / commodified. And that same symbolism of commodification came when I heard this line, rent your wife and kids today. Though I don't really know what this specifically refers to, because I don't know if that happens right now. Rent your wife and kids today. What is the symbolic context of renting your wife and kids? If you were renting them, that means you didn't have ownership of them, but you wouldn't have ownership of them anyways. You're a family that comes together. So it's like the men in these relationships are paying for the access to family as opposed to acting familial. I don't know. Again, like I said, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. We've still got one more song to check out. Crucify. Man, leave it to Tori to just stump me. Usually I feel like I can understand songs and their meanings, but she takes it to a next level. This is Crucify. Hopefully you can read those lyrics. I like the bass here. Voice is like hovering above. Whoa. Oh, it's haunting. And the background instruments, they almost, in like an intuitive sense, don't fit the pitches that she's singing. It feels like if it was more ethereal sounding like she's singing, then you would hear maybe like strings and less staccato and less rhythmic. So it almost feels like she's trying to get us out of our heads and into our bodies. I don't know if that makes sense. It's an interesting combo though. Haters.
I got a bowling ball in my stomach. I got a desert in my mind.
Oh wow. That's super descriptive.
much to sell on me now. I've been looking for a city in these dirty streets, looking for a city beneath these dirty sheets.
Dude, I can never predict what she's gonna do next, I swear.
I've been raising up my hands, dropping up and nailing just what God needs. One more victim. Why do we crucify ourselves every day?
Wow.
I crucify myself. Nothing I do is good enough for you. Crucify myself every day. I crucify myself. My heart is sick of being in knowing, and she's in again.
Oh, that is pretty. That's cool. And this is such a good line. Why do we crucify ourselves every day? You know, I feel like now more than ever, there's a tendency for people to victimize themselves almost infinitely into a fault. And it's not to disregard that things happen that are really negative and we shouldn't blame those external circumstances, but sometimes we also have to give ourselves enough credit and grace to be okay with the external circumstances as they are. And if we make mistakes, also lead with grace and understanding for who we are. Loving ourselves in spite of our flaws and understanding that mistakes can happen, at least can relieve some of the internal burden we place on ourselves. And it's far easier said than done. Like I'm always the most critical of myself more than anybody else, just because, you know, I am in front of myself all the time. I exist as Sohum, and so I know where my faults are. I know the ways I need to improve, and when I feel like I'm not doing that, I crucify myself. And it's a little foolhardy. It neglects what it means to be human. If you were to give advice to somebody else that you love and care about, you wouldn't tell them to criticize themselves all the time, right? You would tell them to understand the position they're in, to do their best and be at peace with themselves. And that would be the same advice then as an analogy to give to yourself. Because it's okay to be flawed. Self-acceptance is an important thing. Improvement is also important. But being overly critical to a debilitating point is something to avoid, at least.
She's in again.
That is a crazy line. Got a kick for a dog begging for love. I gotta have my suffering so that I can have my cross. And I believe in Christianity there's a idea of bearing the burden of the cross, because we all deal with some level of suffering, but I want the suffering so that I can bear the cross, which means I'm seeking the suffering to obtain the responsibility of contending with life, which actually kind of reverses in my mind the quote unquote self-victimization, because there's like a negative self-victimization, and then there's also a quote unquote positive self-victimization, which is kind of a bad label for it. That would more be self-acceptance and accepting of responsibility where it may exist. So I got to have my suffering so that I can have my cross, and also cross with, faith, right? Cross, you bear it, but you also like pray to it. I believe that is a specific symbol of faith in Christianity, right? That you pray to explicitly, as well as wear and adorn and all that good stuff. Easter, right? Easter Sunday, the resurrection.
You're just an empty cage, girl, if you kill the bird.
Yeah.
I've been looking for a savior in these dirty streets, looking for a savior beneath these dirty sheets. I've been raising up my hands, driving another nail in. I got enough guilt to start my own religion.
Wow.
Why do we crucify ourselves every day? I crucify myself. Nothing I do is good enough for you. Crucify myself every day. I crucify myself, and my whole world is sick of being in a wind, and she's in again. Looking for a savior on these dirty streets, looking for a savior beneath these dirty sheets. I've been raising up my hands, driving another nail in with a syringe when you need them. Why do we crucify ourselves every day? I crucify myself. Nothing I do is good enough for you. Crucify my.
I was thinking about this line earlier. I crucify myself, and nothing I do is good enough for you. Now, who is the you in the situation? Good enough for you as in like anyone external to the world? You as in God? Or you as in yourself, speaking to the royal you, yourself? My intuition tells me it's the third option, because I'm crucifying myself because nothing that I do is good enough for you, aka not good enough for me. So because it's not good enough for me, I have to punish. And there's this like vicious cycle of negative punishment and self-defeat and being unable to reach one's goals. And it's almost like you've mentally set a perfect avatar of who you ought to be in your mind. And whenever you're just shy, invariably you will always be shy of this fictitious prospective self-actualized version of yourself. You will always chase that dragon and never be able to actually attain it, thereby decreasing your, mental state further. It's an interesting concept that I heard in the self-improvement space. I don't know how many of you guys have looked into like the whole subculture of self-improvement, and it's basically people trying to find all the ways that they can to improve themselves, to be better equipped to handle life. And it starts from a good place, and I think it began as a very earnest exploration of taking responsibility and being better, but taken to an extreme, you're just looking for flaws within yourself rather than appreciating the beauty that you've already been able to accrue. And just by virtue of being human, you're already deserving of love and appreciation from yourself at the very least. And in a sense, at the at the most, right? It's both of those things. You always need yourself, and you're the most important person to yourself as well. So crucifying yourself, it's just a bad strategy. I think it just leads to a lot of anguish. This is all coming from a 27-year-old, so I'm probably wrong about some things here. Tori is such an insightful person and quite the powerful performer. It just feels like every time I've listened to Tori, I just come away with feelings of either heaviness or existential crisis, self-reflection, introspection, any and all of those unique emotions that often we try to avoid. But that's why it's fun for me to get to immerse myself in all of these different musical worlds, because many artists have different outlooks on life. And Tori, I love her messaging across the board. She has such a unique way to convey these messages, especially through song. And it's also not the typical song structure you would ever expect. So from a music perspective, I'm always kept on my toes. But despite the uniqueness of her music, the lyrics, man, the lyrics are what I'm so infinitely drawn to. And, I don't want to harp on all of the things I discussed earlier about self-crucifixion and, atoning for one's sins and all of these ideas, but it's just important to spread love to everybody, and importantly, yourselves. I feel like that is somehow in our society a very easy thing to neglect and sweep under the rug, but you are at the center of your own universe. Now, don't take that the wrong way. We are all part of the same universe, but we each have our own individual perspectives, and it is your responsibility to love yourself, because loving yourself how can I say it? Loving yourself is to love the universe. And the universe will feel it. I'm on my self-love journey as well. I think it's a lifelong journey for however long we are in our material bodies. And the moments and time where I'm truly outpouring with love for myself, for others around, I'm uninhibited, unadulterated. That is just raw human expression. Again, it's perspective, but it feels so real to me. It feels like the way to be. It is a natural state of peace and simultaneously euphoria. Now, you don't want to seek euphoria from like a hedonistic perspective or ego. It's about doing what's best for the self, and to love is to do what's best for yourself. Beautiful songs, man. That was Crucify, and I'm still a little uncertain of Caught a Light Breeze, so again, please let me know what you guys thought about that song in the comments down below. But that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed my reaction and would like to make a request yourself, you can do so by clicking the first link in the description box below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and peace.